I decided 11 months ago I wanted to do an Ironman. I had no training. I didn't own a bike. I couldn't swim. The typical Ironman story. I'm sure you've heard it before. But yeah, 11 months ago, this is the reason that I wanted to go ahead and try to accomplish what I perceive to be impossible. I want to accomplish something else that I'm proud of. And finding that next thing is pretty important to me. And I am pretty sure that I will be proud of myself if I can do this. Because if you would have asked me 5-10 years ago if I would have ever been able to do this, I would have said no. And essentially, I just want to go through and show the Mason from 5 or 10 years ago that you can do anything. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if I am an idiot here, probably am, but I want to do something that I'm proud of. After spending a year training my absolute hardest, learning how to bike, learning how to swim, learning how to run, we went to France to get our first Ironman done. But I will tell you, it was a terrifying but amazing experience. The longest travel day of my entire life. I mean, we fly from Austin to Philly. One, we get to see the Philly Stadium, pretty cool. Two, we have to hang out in Philly for a couple hours, then fly from Philly to Nice. That was overnight, so we got to take a quick nap. We got to sleep a bit, got to watch some Kung Fu Panda for some motivation for the race, then landed down in Nice, which was absolutely beautiful. After we landed, went to the Airbnb, dropped some stuff off, and immediately started walking around. I mean, wanted to see the city. We were right next to the beach with the Airbnb, which, I mean, it was kind of in the old town. It was nice. There were a bunch of restaurants around. We didn't have much time after we walked. I mean, we walked for hours, so we went and got dinner. And yes, I was just carb loading a ton through this entire trip. Whether we should have or shouldn't have, I don't know, but I'm going to use an excuse to eat pizza when I can. And then, yeah, we didn't have much time. So after that, we just went to bed, super tired. And of course, the next day, could not sleep. Woke up at like 3 a.m. We needed to still work out some during this week. We were definitely like taking it easy. The majority of it, we were resting. I mean, you're going to see we were walking like 10 miles a day. But yeah, I took the opportunity to go out and run this morning, which was beautiful. I mean, this is exactly where we are going to run the marathon for the Ironman. So I wanted to go through, visualize it. I went and swam exactly where we are going to be swimming as well, which this is something that I was just scared about the entire trip. I mean, the second we got there, the second we walked along the beach, I could realize, oh my gosh, these are some pretty damn big waves. I've never swam in waves before. So it's really nerve-wracking. I mean, it was something that at least this point, when we were 6 days out from the race, I was convinced that I was going to straight up drown. But afterwards, I mean, this was a big adventure day for us. We walked, I want to say like 2-3 hours over to a really pretty beach. I don't know if we got any videos or anything of the beach, but yeah, it was beautiful. Got some lunch, ate some pasta every meal. I'm eating pasta here. And then, yeah, for dinner, got some steak. The next day was actually the biggest adventure day we had. This was 4 days out. So we took the train, took the bus over to Monaco. In Monaco, it was, in my mind, not cool. I mean, there were like designer shops, which I don't care for. There was the casino, which is kind of whatever. I mean, we just saw the outside, saw a little bit of the inside. Coolest thing that happened in Monaco is the brother and I challenged some French guys 2-on-2 basketball. Now, a little backstory with me for basketball. I have the heart of a champion. Nobody hustles harder. Nobody tries harder. Now, am I good? No. So my stat line on this was probably about 15 boards, 6 mediocre passes, 13 shots taken, 0 points scored. But, I mean, hustling for the love of the game regardless. Then afterwards, we actually went over to a town called Ez next to Monaco, which just was the prettiest thing we did. I mean, it was gardens at the very top of a mountain. It was really easy to get to, really easy to walk up. And yeah, it was just beautiful. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. I would recommend going here, whether it's you're going with your significant other, whether it's you're going with your family. It's worth just taking the trip up, seeing, you can see the ocean, you can see the mountains, you can see some of the city. Just everything about this was beautiful. And then afterwards, we took the bus back, didn't really have much time, went straight to sleep. The next day here was the first day that the Ironman Village was open. I was so damn nervous because this morning, like at 6 in the morning, I got an email saying, hey, you didn't upload your medical document, so you're not allowed in the race. And of course, I signed up for this race like 10 months ago, so I have no idea if I did or did not do anything. I'm knowing myself, there's a good shot that I forgot to do it. So we go anyway. I just go straight to the athlete check-in to see if I'm going to be good, seeing if my name's there and seeing if I can do the race. Because they never had given me any warning like, hey, by the way, you need this. So they gave me my stuff, so it looked like we were good for the race. And then come to find out the next day, that company emails saying, oh, sorry for the mistake. We didn't mean to send you that. Which, of course, I mean, thanks for nothing. It gave me a heart attack at the time. But then, yeah, after we checked in, got our backpack, which I will be wearing every day for the next 10 years, we went and picked up the bike that we were renting. Now, this was another thing that I was super stressed about at this point of the trip. I had only ever ridden a triathlon bike before, my triathlon bike. I was too nervous to ship it over to Europe, though. I just had no idea how to do that. So I rented a road bike, threw some tri-bars on it. It was just going to be a completely different thing. So we went out on a test. I was really nervous about this bike. But afterwards, we dropped it off at the Airbnb. Family and I went down to the beach. As you can see, I'm in my little tiny funny swimsuit. This is for swimming specifically, swimming laps. I went down, I practiced a little more with the waves, only made it like 10 minutes, then had to give up. The waves were kicking my butt, and it made me nervous. But yeah, afterwards we went, got dinner, and it went to bed. We're trying to go to bed as early as I can, of course, every night here to get ready. Then the next morning, 2 days out from the race, we got our rental. We took out the bike. We rode for, I want to say like 10, 15 miles. And it was not good. Okay, I mean, it was so different than the bike that I'm used to. I was kicking myself saying, oh my gosh, you should have just shipped your regular bike. You should have figured it out. This thing's not going to work. I don't know. I was stressing. But after the bike, the girlfriend and I went to get brunch. As you can tell, we're 2 days out. So I'm using it as an excuse to pig out, eat like a pig. I eat like a pig every day of my life. But I mean, we were going extra. I was making just honey sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, going all out. We went over to the beach. This was the first day that I actually got my wetsuit to go and test out because I could only swim for like 10 minutes out there with the waves kicking my butt. So I was like, oh, maybe the wetsuit will make things easier. At least I'll be warm in the water. Went out, tried to swim. The waves kicked my butt yet again and only survived for like 10 minutes. So I threw in the towel, went to dinner with the fam, and then went to bed, getting ready for the next day. The day before the Ironman, we went to the athlete debriefing. I don't even know what they said. I mean, I was in shambles. I can't even tell you how nervous I was. Again, using every excuse to go through and pig out. We're getting a ton of pasta in us here. Getting desserts every single day of this trip, letting myself eat like a pig. And yeah, this was the day that we had to check the bags and drop off the bike. So yeah, you'll see our bag set up. Wearing to the race. This is not going in a bag. I put this on tomorrow morning. Tri-suit. Heart rate monitor. I'm going to carry the wetsuit down. Goggles, swim cap. Should be good there. By the way, I always forget stuff. Then we're going to swim. Come over. This is going to be my bike bag. So that's what we're putting everything in here. I'm going to have the towel we're stealing from the Airbnb to wipe down. Wipe myself off. Get socks on, get shoes on. This is going to be my bib that I'm wearing. Has a little pocket. It's a belt that goes around me. I have a Morton drink mix. We're going to fill up one of the water bottles with that when we go over the nutrition plan. A bunch of these gels. I like the Honey Stinger gels. I've never had the Morton drink mix. They say don't try anything new for the race. I've barely had any drink mixes at all, so we're trying new stuff for everything. We're going to throw on the sunglasses. I'm going to chug this. This has 2 scoops of the Tailwind powder. We'll go through what's in that. Anyway, carbs, salt, water, 700 milligrams, 700 liters of water. Depending on how I feel, throw on the nose strip. This is what I sleep with every night, but I don't know. Feels good. And then we have Underdog stickers. We're going to be putting these everywhere. Obviously, got a rep. But if I'm wet, we may not throw this on. and instead we may throw them on when we're on the run. But anyway, we should have this. We're gonna bike. We have a special needs bag. So this special needs bag, we should get about halfway through the bike at kilometer 80, but the first half of the bike is all uphill, so that may take us like 4 hours to get to. We're gonna have aid stations along the way where we can fill up the waters and we can get Morton gels and stuff. But I wanna have like these powders because it's just easy to do the math with the carbs, salt, and water if I do that. So the plan is hour one, well, let's just get the paper. All right, hour one on the bike, 1 gel and 2 tailwind scoops. So this is the tailwind. I'll tell you after the race if it's any good or not. I have no idea. This is what a friend recommended. But essentially it has 310 grams of sodium, milligrams of sodium, 25 grams of carbs in a scoop. And then so those water bottles that we have, which you can see them right here, we already have them filled up on the bike. They hold 700 milliliters of water. So we put 2 scoops in them. So every hour we're gonna drink 1 water bottle, which should give us 700 milligrams of water, should give us 50 grams of carbs, 610 milligrams of sodium. And then we're also gonna have an additional gel, which should give us 75 grams of carbs and 50 grams of sodium. So from everything I see on YouTube, which obviously YouTube is the best source you can find, that's gonna be enough, pretty much perfect amount per hour of sodium, carbs, and water that we need. Obviously we can fill up more at the aid station if we need to. But so anyway, it's gonna take us 4 hours. Our water bottles are gonna be gone within the first 2. Then at a regular aid station, hour 3, we're gonna put the Morton drink mix, which is in that little black thing that we showed you. We're gonna put that in a water bottle. And then hopefully for hour 4, we can get to the special needs station. They'll give us this bag. We can refill up the bottles with water, put 2 scoops of this in each bottle, and that'll be good for hours 4 and 5. Then hours 6 and 7, we're just gonna figure it out. Then we're gonna bike. We'll be done. We're gonna come over here. We're going to run. Gotta throw on the Underdog hat. This is the lucky hat. Put on some running socks. Take off what socks will be gross. And then we have 2 pairs of shoes. We have the, I think, Saucony Endorphin Elites. These are carbon shoes. If you don't know what that is, like they're carbon plated. So they're light, fast, but uncomfortable. These are the Gel Cumulus like 25 A6, something like that. They're my favorite shoes to run in. It's what I run in every single day when I train. They are heavy, slow, but super comfortable. So if we kill the bike, we're feeling great, and I want to try to go super fast, we're going to go fast shoes. If I'm dying and just trying to finish, we're going to go slow shoes, about comfy shoes. And then, yeah, I'm not going to pack any nutrition stuff for the run, for the marathon, because, I'll throw some gels in here anyway, just in case. It's just because they're going to have aid stations every pretty much mile or 2. So we can get water, we can get gels, throw them in our tri-suit if we need to. So that shouldn't be an issue, but yeah, we're going to pack all this stuff up, take it to the check-in, check in the bike. You want to see the bike? And hopefully we'll be good to go for tomorrow morning.
After we put those bags together, we went ahead, we got the bike, we got the bags, we went down to the drop-off zone. Of course, some of the bags we took, apparently we weren't supposed to drop off. I don't know. I was so nervous I was never listening to anything. But we dropped off what we needed to, dropped off what we should have, threw the Underdog stickers, of course, on the bottles. I'd have thrown them on the bike if it wasn't a bike that I was actually renting. But then the girlfriend's family and my family, we got together. I've been dating my girlfriend for like 4 or 5 years. It was our first time the families ever met, which was pretty cool. We went, looked at the start of where the swim was going to be, then hiked up the mountain that's right next to Nice, got some really pretty views. It was great. Then we all went to dinner after. I got 2 meals, which is a normal thing for me, but now I at least had a reason to do so with the race coming up.
Because we're going for first, not last, we're shaving the legs. And we're going electric razor. We're not going straight razor. You want to come get the pre-race leg hair? Pre-shave leg hair? First time I've ever shaved my legs. Not gonna lie, kind of excited. I know that sounds really dumb, but Well, actually, you can see the first time ever. I use this for my face. I don't use shaving cream with it, so hopefully it's the same for legs. Hopefully,
I don't
botch
think
this.
it will be.
Like OCD, I love cutting hair. Like shaving my dog's hair is my favorite thing to do. This is way more hair than I was expecting. Okay, that's enough for y'all now. Well, we'll show you the end result. Update. Horrible mistake. We're supposed to be a little bit faster on the bike. It better actually work because look at the legs. Shaved.
Terribly.
Yeah, well, zoom it out a little bit. This is how it normally looks, and then we'll zoom in. Versus unshaved. Unshaved looks so much better, but now you know, and hopefully it makes us faster.
And after that debacle, went to bed, woke up, and it is race day. Now, this is when I realized there's no reason to continue to be nervous. It's happening whether or not you're ready for it. You're going to get in the water. You're not going to drown. There's no reason in telling yourself that you're going to drown at this point. So the nerves that had been haunting me all week started to go away a bit. And instead, I started to get excited, which was really nice. Got to flex with the family, see them off, and then go for the swim. Now, with the swim, it was honestly way better than I was expecting. I was really nervous for the waves. The waves weren't that bad. I was really nervous to swim alongside everybody. But I did a half Ironman early this year in Galveston. And there, for the half Ironman, it took me 45 minutes for the swim. And in this one, my goal was to just go for an hour and a half, thinking, oh, okay, well, I'll double the distance. If I can keep the same pace, that's a good improvement level in 3 months or whatever it was. But about halfway through the swim, I checked my watch and it said like 40 minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I guess this is broken. I guess I accidentally paused it at some point. But yeah, no, we ended up doing the swim in an hour and 22, which I was super happy with. We got out. I didn't really feel tired. I felt relieved because, I mean, the swim was super boring. Ran over in transition, grabbed our stuff, kind of went to the other section. I grabbed the towel that we had. I wiped down every inch of my body. Did not want to be wet whatsoever. Got the bike, headed out. I definitely went slower at the first like 5 miles than I needed to, but the Garmin was off. I have like a new bike computer. I have no idea how to use it, so I'm just doing everything that I can. So I know it seems like we went pretty slow on the bike, and yes, it was over 7 hours, but I want to give context because honestly, I think it went quite well. So this is the race with the most elevation gain in the world of all Ironman races. That's why you'll hear it's supposed to be the most beautiful. That's why you'll hear it's supposed to be the toughest. Very tough. I was terrified going into this, not because of climbing, like going up the mountains. Who cares? All you really do is have to pedal harder. Obviously, you're going to go a lot slower, but pedal harder and nothing is going to be a big deal. What I was terrified with is I was terrified going down the mountains, because you'll see on the about 5 minutes into this video, or maybe a minute or two, that there were a bunch of switchbacks. It was really technical. It was windy. It was steep going down. So, I mean, I'm fine going down hills. If it's like a straight path, I can bomb it. We can go 50 miles an hour down on the bike. But when it's like a narrow European road where it's windy and I'm having to make sharp turns, the second half of the bike, as you'll see, we were just having to slam on the brakes from pretty much the second we started going downhill to the second that we finished the race. So went slow going up the mountains because obviously physics. And to be honest, going up the mountains, I was actually passing a considerable amount of people. But as soon as we started going down, I just stopped pedaling entirely, hands on the brakes. I had a lot of Europeans passing me, which I'm sure that they had experience with these mountains or mountains that were similar. I've just never ridden on mountains at all before.
But with the bike, a couple different things. One, nutrition, perfect. Our plan went great. We had a couple different mix-ups where we didn't follow it exactly, but we were able to use a gel instead of powder here or there. Nutrition was phenomenal. Never bonked. Stomach never got hurt. I did pee myself like 5 or 6 times on the bike. I just kept on, and I was not getting off. Maybe got off once or twice. But a pee would like go straight into my shoe. And then my feet really started hurting. This was the one thing that I probably need to look into, why my feet were hurting so bad. I don't know if it was just because the time spent biking, the pressure on the pedals. I don't know if it was because I was dehydrated. I don't know if I was overhydrated. I don't know if I had too many carbs. I don't know if I had not enough carbs. I don't know the reason that my feet hurt so bad, but that was like the only complaint that I could possibly have on the bike. And I was really nervous about having like the rented road bike instead of my actual triathlon bike. But to be honest with you, it would have been much tougher with my actual triathlon bike. With the road bike, there were a lot of things, like a lot of speed bumps that I hit, that I think it would have popped my tire on the tri bike. Where the road bike, it was just completely fine. And also, I was having to change gears so often with the hills and I couldn't spend that much time in the aero position. So it was actually a lot better in my mind that we had the road bike than the tri bike. So it was something I was really worried about, and I thought it was going to slow us down, but it didn't. But yeah, it was a slow bike ride for me. I don't think we could have done much better unless like I put myself in danger. So honestly, happy with how it went. And yeah, as soon as we got off, we were ready to hit the run.
We get off the bike, and whenever we get off the bike, I mean, I am just, I don't even know what to think. Everything's a blur. I'm happy that I survived. I survived the swim. I survived the bike, and I know how to run. Worst case scenario, I mean, I fall and nothing really bad happens. So it's like, okay, I survived. We can do this. So we started off running, and I'm telling you, I was cruising. I want to say the first 13 miles we did in like an hour 10, an hour 15. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I mean, that's not true. An hour 40, because I think we were on pace to do like a 3.5 hour marathon or a 3 hour, 25-minute marathon, something along those lines. We were freaking cruising. And then mile 13, disaster struck. My knees started hurting so damn bad that like, I pushed through it the best that I could for like 5 minutes, which it doesn't seem like a lot, but I mean, it was painful, which it was the same knee that was hurting on the bike as well. So I started to walk, and that is something I never do while I run. It doesn't matter if it's one of the very few races I've done, whether it's by myself. I pride myself that I will not walk. I will slow down, but I will not walk. But I started walking at mile 13, and I thought, okay, I'm going to have to walk the next 13 miles. I can't run with this knee. But then we walked for maybe like a minute, and I was like, okay, we're going to start running to the aid stations. Then we'll walk through the aid stations. And then once I started doing that, my entire body hurt so bad. It was such a blur that honestly kind of forgot about the knee pain. It allowed me not to focus in on it. And yeah, we just went through, pushed the next 13 miles, went pretty damn slow. But I mean, finished the marathon in less than 4 hours. I think it was like a 3:50, as something along those lines, which if I was just running a marathon by itself, I wouldn't be happy with. But given the fact that it was after biking 112 miles and after swimming 2.4, I was extremely happy with that.
It's been 2 weeks since the race, and I can confidently say that, yeah, I accomplished it. I'm proud of it. I am so happy we did it. I am planning on doing more going into the future. And yeah, I mean, this is the typical Ironman story. I didn't have a bike 11 months ago. I didn't know how to swim 11 months ago. I barely ran. I just kind of lifted weights. It seemed impossible at the time. We focused in. We dedicated ourselves to it. We got it done. Couldn't be more blessed. Couldn't be more thankful. Couldn't be more grateful that everything happened.
We have some special thanks in order. One, thank you, Underdog Fantasy, of course, for a million different things, but getting us this trip, which couldn't have gone better. Two, thank you for the fam to be there to record everything for this. Three, thank you to the girlfriend for putting up with me. Four, thank you to Ryan, my Ironman buddy, showing us how it's done earlier this year. Five, thank you to my old tennis coach in high school, Coach Schwab. I wouldn't have known what an Ironman was. I mean, he was the one who taught me how to work out way back in the day. And yeah, I really hope I get to do a race with you next year. Hope I get to do a race with a bunch of y'all in the future, because I plan on doing this again over and over and over again. So much freaking fun. And yeah, thank you so much if you stuck around and watched this entire video, because if you're still here, I guess you cared about this somewhat. So thank you for that. And yeah, hope I get to see you in a race next year.